Every single morning, the moment you open your eyes, you face a choice that determines the rest of your life. But for 95% of the population, that choice has already been made by their biology. Before you even get out of bed, your brain has already reached for the past. You begin to think about your problems. Those problems are connected to memories of people, places, and times. The moment you remember those problems, you feel an emotion, perhaps stress, perhaps anxiety, or a dull sense of unworthiness. At that precise second, your brain and your body are no longer in the present, they are in the past. Welcome to Uplifted. Today we are going deep into the literal architecture of change. We aren't just talking about positive thinking or manifestation in a spiritual sense. We are looking at the hard science of how the principles pioneered by Dr. Joe Dispenza actually rewrite your neural pathways and change your biology. If you've ever felt like your meditations aren't working or like you're stuck in a loop you can't break, the answer isn't in your effort. It's in your understanding of the machine between your ears. Neuroscience tells us that by the time we are 35 years old, 95% of who we are is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, and hardwired beliefs. We become a giant computer program. You wake up on the same side of the bed, you drink your coffee from the same mug, you drive the same route to a job you may not even like, and you see the same people who trigger the same emotional responses. This is what Dr. Joe calls the habit of being yourself. Biologically, this is known as Hebbian theory. Neurons that fire together, wire together. If you keep thinking the same thoughts and performing the same actions, you are reinforcing the same neural circuits every single day. Your brain becomes a literal record of the past. It becomes a closed loop. But here's the catch. Your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an actual experience in your life and an emotion you create by thought alone. When you dwell on a past trauma or a future fear, your body believes it is happening right now. It begins to manufacture the chemicals of stress. When you live in stress, you are living in survival. Your brain perceives a threat, and it activates the high beta brainwave state. This is a state of high alert, emergency, and incoherence. In survival, your nervous system pumps out adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones are designed to help you run from a predator, but when you stay in this state for years, those very chemicals begin to down-regulate your genes and create disease. This is the river of change. To cross it, you have to leave the old self behind and step into the unknown. But the body is addicted to those stress hormones. It's like a drug. The moment you try to change, the body signals the brain, "Hey, this feels uncomfortable. This isn't safe. Go back to the old anxiety. At least we know what to expect there." This is where most people quit. They think something is wrong. But from a neuroscience perspective, this discomfort is the sign that you are actually beginning to break the habit. The bridge across that river is called coherence. This is perhaps the most vital principle in Dr. Joe's work. Most of us live in a state of incoherence. Our hearts are beating irregularly, and our brains are firing like a house on fire. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that the heart has its own nervous system, the little brain in the heart. When we focus on the heart and breathe deeply, creating an elevated emotion like gratitude or joy, the heart begins to beat in a steady, rhythmic pattern. This sends a signal through the vagus nerve up to the brain, telling the amygdala that the threat is gone. Suddenly, the brain shifts from high beta to alpha and theta waves. This is the doorway to the subconscious mind. In this state, the analytical mind, the part of you that judges, doubts, and remembers the past, steps aside. You are now at the operating system. You are now in the quantum field. Before we move into the second part of this journey, where we discuss the literal reprogramming of your DNA and the future self blueprint, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt that moment during meditation where you seem to disappear? Where you forget about your body, your name, and the time? This is the moment of pure potential. If you felt it, describe that sensation in the comments below. If you're still working toward it, comment, "I am ready to cross the river." Your engagement helps this educational community grow and signals the algorithm that this science needs to be shared. And if you are finding value in this deep dive, make sure you are subscribed to Uplifted. We are here to help you master the mechanics of your own transformation. For decades, we were taught that our DNA was a fixed blueprint, that if your parents had heart disease or anxiety, you were destined to have it too. This is what we call biological victimhood. But the new science of epigenetics has shattered this belief. Your genes are like light switches, and the environment of the cell determines which switches are on and which are off. But here is the revolutionary part. The environment of your cells is not just the food you eat. It is the chemistry of your blood. And the chemistry of your blood is determined by your emotions. When you live in a state of gratitude, joy, and love, you are flooding your internal environment with life-giving chemicals. Research shows that just 4 days of practicing elevated emotion can strengthen your immune system by 50% and begin to up-regulate genes that promote healing and down-regulate those that cause disease. You are quite literally a chemical laboratory. By changing your internal state, you are giving your cells new instructions. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are the author of your biological future. Perhaps the most mysterious and misunderstood part of this process is the role of the pineal gland. Dr. Joe often refers to this tiny pine cone-shaped gland in the center of your brain as a transducer. Biologically, the pineal gland contains tiny calcite crystals that have piezoelectric properties. When you perform the specific breathwork often taught in this work, you are creating mechanical pressure on these crystals, which generates an electromagnetic field. This is the moment your brain becomes an antenna. The pineal gland takes the frequencies of the quantum field and transduces it into vivid 3D imagery and profound mystical experiences. This isn't your imagination. It is your biology accessing a higher level of data. This is how you begin to see a new reality before it physically manifests. You are tuning into a different station in the multiverse. Now we understand the science, but how do we make the change permanent? It comes down to your electromagnetic signature. Think of your thoughts as the electrical signal you send out into the quantum field, and your emotions as the magnetic charge that pulls your future back to you. Most people are broadcasting a signal of lack. They are asking for wealth while feeling poor, or asking for health while feeling sick. The quantum field does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. To manifest your future self, you must teach your body emotionally what that future feels like before it happens. You must feel the gratitude of the healing before the body is healed. You must feel the abundance before the money arrives. When your internal state matches the frequency of your potential future, the event finds you. You don't have to go looking for it. You become the magnet. The hardest part of this journey is what Dr. Joe calls the river of change. This is the space between your old self and your new self. Biologically, this is a state of neurological and chemical chaos. Your body, which has been the master for years, will start to complain. It will send thoughts like, "You can't do this," "It's too hard," or "I'll start tomorrow." Understand this. That voice is just the body's addiction to the old chemicals of stress. When you hit that wall of discomfort, you aren't failing. You are in the middle of a biological upgrade. The moment you stay present in that discomfort, without returning to the past, is the moment the old self dies, and the new self is born. We have traveled through the neural pathways, the heart's magnetic field, and the chemistry of our cells. The conclusion is simple. Your mind is the most powerful tool in the known universe. But it is a tool that must be mastered. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of forgetting the old self and remembering the new one. Before you leave this video, I want us to anchor this information together. This is a community of 20,000 seekers, and there is power in our collective intention. I want you to go to the comments right now and write one thing you are committing to rewiring in your life this week. Is it your reaction to stress, your belief in lack, or your commitment to your morning practice? Write it down. Declare it to the field. If this deep dive helped you understand the why behind your transformation, please hit the like button. It helps us reach more people who are lost in the survival mind. And if you haven't yet, join the Uplifted family by subscribing. The multiverse is infinite, and your potential is just as vast. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next journey, beyond the self.